Welcome back to It Is What It Is. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts Mace and Cam.
Killer was good. Stat, what's going on?
What's good, everybody? How y'all doing?
Good.
Chilling.
Yay. Well, good to see everybody. So we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to start with basketball. Some unfortunate news, actually, because Mace, this is one of the people you were rooting for. So Cade Cunningham has actually been diagnosed with a collapsed lung and is expected to miss an extended period of time. So first, Mace, what are your initial thoughts after hearing that news? And then how much, we know it's going to be a lot, but do you think this is going to affect the Pistons season?
This is sad news when it comes to Cade Cunningham. To think of something this unfortunate is really like 1 in a million, right? For this type of thing to happen. I remember something similar, not the exact thing, but happened to Chris Bosh. It just tends to lend to how special time is and how fragile life is, that somebody that's doing this well could get this kind of news. It's just really heartbreaking to think about how this could happen to him, and just thinking about it, it happens to people every day, but when it happens to an athlete, it's one of those things that have to be well in order for you to do well, which is your health. Your health has to hold up, and it just lets us know how important, just health is, and also the other thing that I'm thinking about is this is what separates special in people. Because, not only did you do well, but you had God on your side. You had all these things on your side to make sure that your health held up. So that's really something that's going to really plague this Detroit team tremendously. I don't see them going far without him. I don't see them doing well without him. But I wish him well, and I wish he gets better really, really fast. And that's just so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really sad, man. First of all, I wish him a speedy recovery. Just sad, period, when it doesn't matter to who it happens to. But it just seems like when it comes to injury, no matter what caliber injury, it happens to the superstars. Or something. Well, you know what? I don't want to say this happens to the superstars. Maybe we don't hear about the people that's not important. And that's not the right thing to say, not important. The people we don't talk about as far as athletes are concerned. It may happen to people, the 12th man on the bench, the 52nd man on the football team, etc. But when it's a superstar and he's having a great year and talked about for MVP, so on and so forth, it's just really, really sad. But, yeah, speedy recovery. But to answer your question, Stat, where do I see the Pistons going? Without Cade Cunningham, nowhere. I don't see them going anywhere at all. What I did was do some homework on this injury, and this injury sounds really bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds. They're going to reevaluate him in 2 weeks. They saying he could potentially come back after that, after a reevaluation. They say this injury, speedy recovery for most athletes because of how good a shape they're in, as opposed to somebody who's not working out every day. So he might be back quicker than people expect. When you hear this, you're like, lung collapse, it's over. That's what I was thinking, like at least for this season minimum. But they say he may be back. What I will say is this: I don't know the Detroit schedule. I don't have it in front of me. But even if he makes it back for the playoffs, I don't know where the Pistons go. I think he would need a few games before the playoffs to get back in basketball, in rhythm for the playoffs to try to pick up where he left off at. So I don't see the Pistons going far, but it depends on his timeline on recovery, because they're saying that this injury isn't life-threatening or career-ending. It's possibility that he may be back this season. But if he makes it back just in time for the playoffs, I don't think the Pistons go anywhere. If he has a few games before the playoffs to get back in rhythm, he may be able to pick up where they left off, and we'll just have to see. But I do wish him a speedy recovery as well.
To answer your question,
Yeah,
the
I
few
think
games before the playoffs, sorry, Mace, it's just the Pacers, Hornets, Bucks, Magic, Sixers. So those are like those last April games, but you can go ahead, Mace.
Yeah, I think this is the time they should just give him the MVP. I don't think with this going on that, in the future he gets the MVP again. So I hope he gets it this time.
Okay, well, actually, speaking of MVP, people are now entering Luka in the conversation. So he dropped 60 points in the Lakers' 134-126 win versus the Heat the other day. So the Lakers have now won 8 straight, including 11 of their last 12. This is the first 60-point game by Lakers since Kobe's last game. So Mace, after hearing that, do you think Luka now enters the MVP combo? What do we think? And then Luka's performance, thoughts on the 60?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by Luka getting 60. I would be surprised if Luka get 3 steals. Like 60 points is not really surprising when it comes to Luka. I'm really looking at him in the way that he plays defense as a surprise at this point. No matter how much he does on offense, it doesn't matter if he doesn't play defense. At some point, he got to play defense in order for this Laker team to have any chance of being a formidable opponent for anybody in the West Coast. Right? He can get 70. They probably still won't win. He gotta start playing defense.
I agree with Mace. You got to start playing D. But shit, what we gonna say when the Lakers D in Houston? I think 2 times part of this win streak. LeBron's looking good. I think Luka's, not saying he had it already, but I think this is his. Yeah, I'm officially a Laker nigga debut. You know what I'm saying? We've seen him put up numbers before with the Lakers so far and everything else, but we have to think about the lineage when it comes to being a Laker, right? And nothing else besides a championship counts. But this is right now when you say, okay, I am a Laker and I want to win a championship. We see LeBron James running up to him as the superstar during these wins, come in and jump on him, pause, and give him pats on the back, high five, and same way they used to do to LeBron. And when I see LeBron do this, I think to myself, this is what he's been waiting for. Somebody to take the keys so he could sit shotgun and say, okay, cool. When you're tired, I'll drive. But you're the driver. And I see the joy on LeBron's face, but we can't deny what the Lakers are doing over this past few weeks. It's just been sensational to watch, honestly, because, like I said, I didn't think that the Lakers would be in this position. And we know that in between 3rd place and 6th place, it's a tight squeeze between all the teams there. But for the Lakers to go on this win streak to this part of the season, it's been great to watch. I'm not going to lie, because I get to see LeBron James play second fiddle, so to speak, and somebody there that wants the ball and wants to be a superstar. Mace is 100% correct. Luka's going to have to play some defense, but that's, to me, giving J.J. Redick props, disguising him on defense, and setting up a defense to where he could get help. When somebody blows past him, somebody's in place to help him out. But just credit to J.J. Redick, because we know that Luka slacks on defense. But the win streak's been incredible to watch. As far as putting him in the MVP conversation, Luka should be in the MVP conversation every year. I kind of blame this on Trish. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, she jinxed fucking Cade Cunningham and was pumping Luka. Remember yesterday she was trying to shit on Cade, talking about, yo, we put Luka in there, and then this happens. Blame Trish for this whole shit. I'm being honest with you. Like,
blame Trish?
I don't know how that. She did. She jinxed niggas, yo. She jinxed niggas and got what she wanted out the deal.
By the way, you had to handle some business yesterday, but she did also bring up the clip because I think it was something about Jaylen Brown. You said he shouldn't be something. So y'all will have to speak about this next week when she comes back.
Yeah, we had a $100 bet.
Yeah.
We had a bet.
She did bring that up. Good. I know she's gonna say she was
Yeah,
not
she
the chick
tried to
she's
put
been
you on
supporting.
screen too, killer.
Nah, I told her to. I said, if you
Yeah.
got the clip, bring it up. And you wasn't there that show, but I told her bring it up. And I made $100 bet with her. So if she won, she won. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, she did. She definitely did what she was told. But you guys can discuss this. I know she's gonna say she wasn't the jinx. I don't think she was the jinx because she also did show some love to Cade too. So I have to vouch for her with that. But I do want to ask you guys this because JJ Redick was actually asked why Luka isn't more prominently featured in MVP discussions, and he ended up saying because he complains to the refs. I don't know. So I know you guys bring up how his defense has bothered you. Is that kind of the main reason? And I know Cam, you started kind of going into it a little bit, saying he should be part of those conversations. But Mace, what would it take for you to consider Luka for MVP?
They would have to finish second. They would have to finish either second or first for me, because other than that, it's gonna always be this issue of his defense, right? Because he's only playing one side of the ball. When you only have to play one side of the ball, I don't know how much credit I could give that. It's not like you're getting a bunch of assists; it's just points that you're getting at this point. So if you're going on the fact that you're dominating that much, it should turn into wins if it's really that effective. Because sometimes you're scoring at the effect of your team. Like the ball is not moving, the team is not actually doing better. But when they beat in Houston, that's good. They beat San Antonio, that's good. Go ahead and win the West. Come in second at least to give us that argument. Because we have somebody right there in number one that could be MVP as well, and that's Shea Gilchrist, right? So if you're gonna put yourself in that position, you got to be right there with them.
I think that's the only reason that Luka's not in the conversation. Just what the Joker does year after year, what Shea Gildress Alexander is doing, because the fact that Detroit wasn't so good last year, or the last few years. And, last year they made it to the playoffs, but, it's been a long climb for Detroit to get where they're at this year. And then, of course, Jaylen Brown with, the Boston basically being dismantled with no Drew Holiday, no Al Horford, no Porzingis, no Tatum, no majority of the year. And keeping them in second place. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that Boston would even be in the top four at this time of the year. You know what I'm saying? So those are people why we aren't considering Luka, because of the amazing things that are happening with everybody I just named. Joker walking triple double. Shea comes in, passes Wilt Chamberlain for most 20-point games consecutively with 127 consecutive games of 20 points or more. Cade Cunningham having Detroit Pistons, who's been a non-conversation unless we make fun of them before last year, the previous years in first place. And then Boston with Jaylen Brown just doing what he did. Like I said, all them players have phenomenal years. And don't get it messed up. Luka numbers are tremendous too. You look at Luka's numbers, right? It's 33 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 8.5 assists. He's a couple rebounds and an assist and a half away from be averaging a triple-double too. But I just think there's better storylines, and not just storylines of what people are doing. What I would say is this: right now, me personally, I would put him ahead of the Joker. Right now, we're talking about today, because the simple fact of how Denver has been declining the last few weeks. Their games, they're not winning games, they're losing games. And then we're talking about the Lakers being on this win streak. But I wouldn't put him ahead of anybody else I named outside the Joker, even though the Joker is still doing what he's doing, has not produced the wins these last few weeks. So I would put him ahead of the Joker currently, but I'm not putting him ahead of Shea. And like I said, Cade Cunningham, that's another story because now he's out. And I won't put him against above Jaylen Brown at the moment, but he's having a sensational season.
And then Mace, right now, would you put him above the Joker too, or are you on a different page? Because sometimes y'all got different takes, so I got to clarify.
No, I actually like that take from Killer, because that's what it's about right now in the West Coast. You got to win games, and if Joker team is declining, then I can see why he would make that statement. I'm not in full agreement with it because they owe Joker MVPs from the years they didn't give it to him. That we know he should have been MVP. So, like the refs make up calls. If it comes down to it, this wouldn't be a good year, but they do owe the Joker some more MVPs. Like there's years they missed it on not giving it to Joker. So, I could see them making up an MVP or two or here or there, but not this year. This year is too many people playing stellar basketball for him to be MVP. I think right now you got to keep it in the direction of Cade. You got to keep it in the direction of SGA and Jaylen Brown. I don't think anybody else right now is realistically an MVP other than those three.
Got it. Okay. And just out of curiosity, because y'all be calling a lot of things, so maybe we can get ahead of the curve a little bit. But seeing that Luka just dropped 60 and we saw Bam break that record of 83 points, Mace, who do you think would be that next person to break that record? Because I mean, 100 is a lot. I don't know if they're going to get to Wilt'S, but we're seeing things are moving and shaking. Who is that player that you think could get it done?
Yeah, you got Bam getting that number down in Miami. I would love to hear the conversation between him and D Wade again about that. And then you got this type of performance right here from Luka. I think the next person to do this, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Anthony Edwards. He would be the next one to put up some amazing numbers. Or, and when I say on the ledge and limb, I wouldn't be talking about Anthony Edwards, though. I was going to say Jalen Brunson. I could really see Jalen Brunson having one of those type of games where he heats up and gets a 60-point game.
What are you talking about, Stat? Who's going to break Wilt's record?
No, if you think they could beat Wilt's record, then yes, but I'm thinking Bam's record.
Who's going to beat Bam's record?
Like, who do you think could be that next player to do so?
Nobody, because it's not within the game. You get what I'm saying? Like, Luka's 60, and look, I fuck with Bam. I have no problem with Bam. People's like, oh, you hating on Bam, this, that, and the third. A few people was upset on the tape. But you got to realize that wasn't to me, and I'm saying to me, within the game. 60 points that Luka had tonight within the game. They won by 8 points. It was great competition. As a matter of fact, it was against Bam. It's a great game. Bam 83 to me was not within the game. When I say within the game, when you're winning by 20, you don't foul the other team to stop the clock, so they can shoot free throws, so you can get the ball back, so one nigga can shoot. If you have 20 points, why you foul the other team on purpose? I don't. That to me, that's not within the game. That's what I mean. You're not up 20 points and foul the other team to stop the clock so a nigga can shoot. You know what I'm saying? I don't even make no sense. Even Kobe, no disrespect, Kobe, his shit was within the game. But if two other niggas only take a shot in the fourth quarter, come on. You know what? So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not dissing Kobe because 81 is 81 and 83 is 83. You have to put the ball in the basket. I will say that. But it has to be within the game. If you think about this, right? Klay Thompson had 70 points in the third quarter. And they were up 20, 25 points, 30 points, whatever it was. Steve Kerr didn't let him play in the fourth quarter. Steve Kerr said, nah, you bugging. Klay Thompson wanted to play. He wanted to get in, but Steve Kerr held some dignity and was like, yo, bro, sit down, my nigga. You got 73, you wilding, nigga. We up 30. Chill out, my nigga. So when it's, you guys, now think about that, right? You got 70 points in the third quarter and didn't play the fourth. Klay Thompson could have had 100. But it wouldn't have been within the game. He would have just been trying to break the record. I don't know another coach that's going to let somebody do that unless it's within the game. I don't see anybody having 83 points within the game. Just me personally. Not saying it can't happen. The people Mace name definitely could score. Let them know. Jalen Brunson has 60 already. Antman's capable of scoring 70 points. Absolutely. We seen Donovan Mitchell score 70 points. We seen Devin Booker score 70 points. But once you're up that many points, your coach usually doesn't keep you in the game. So I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody's going to beat Bam's record.
Yeah, good takes. Okay, so
So Killer, wait. So are you saying it's not within the game if Klay Thompson would have got back in the fourth quarter under your definition of not within the game?
If you up 30, most of the time the starters sit. Because now what if you get hurt, right? You're going to look like an asshole as a coach. Like, see, you're being greedy. That's what you get for being greedy. We've seen plenty times where players only have 15, 16 points, but you're a starter and your team is up 30 points going into the fourth quarter, and you put the star player back in the game, you look kind of like selfish as a coach, or used to. Maybe I'm just out the new school loop. You know what I'm saying? But to me, you don't do that, because to me, what if he twists his ankle or get injured? It's kind of bad karma to me. It's one of them unwritten rules we talk about murder, when niggas be like, yo, come on, my nigga. Yo, what are you doing?
Yeah,
y'all up 72 points.
Going for the dump.
Yeah.
You up 8.
Yeah, at the end with 2 seconds left. That type shit. So, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. 100%. Yes. And then the players try to run down on you and get mad.
Yeah, I don't know if we got to go by the unwritten rule, though. If he's up 70, I think that's different. If Klay gets back in the fourth quarter and he has 70 in one quarter, I think it's kind of different than Bam.
No, he has 70 in 3 quarters.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think Bam was doing it like the cheat code on Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? When we trying to break the record, you keep fouling, you know how to hold the clock, and you trying to beat somebody high score. I don't know how to really look at it. You know, it depends on what kind of person you are. But 80 whatever is 80 whatever, you know? Stop it. Foul me back then.
No, listen. That's why it's called an unwritten rule. It's not, you cannot not do it. He did it. Yo, you're right. It isn't that you can't, you did it. It isn't like you can't do it. But it depends on what kind of nigga you got. Because I'm just saying how coaches used to have integrity. Now, don't get it fucked up. When we play ball, we got them coaches that'll tell us to get back in and score 100. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, when it comes to levels, I just never seen nothing like it. Not in the NBA. Just me personally. But, you know, what I will say is this.
Growing up, I think we did beat a team like that, and they wanted the coach was mad. I don't know if you remember that. Coach said, "No, go kill them niggas."
Yeah, exactly. It depends on a lot of different scenarios. You got beef with another coach, you don't like the city, they did you wrong. Your girlfriend, ex-girlfriend's from that town. You don't know what's involved in the scenarios on why people do stuff. But like I said, 83, I don't want people to think that 83 is not 83 points. But is it within the game, right? Like, let me tell you one time, right? Remember Animal League Gauchos?
Mm-hmm.
The in-house tournament. I had 66
with the small basket.
Yeah, right. I had 66 points in 5 minutes running time. You know, in running time, it means the clock don't stop for free throws or nothing. But some people in Animal League, you know, Animal League's in-house, so everybody don't know the rules. So when I score a basket and somebody's about to take it out, I'll be like, yo, check it up. And they'll check it to me and I'll shoot it and lay it up. I only have 5 minutes to do whatever. So, because they don't know the rule that you can't, this is a referee, you can't check it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I did everything I could. Everything I could just to break the record, because I think Wally Lynch had the record like 56 points or some shit like that. And I was trying to break Wally Lynch's record. But the point being is, to me, that ain't within the game. If a nigga check me the ball up in a real game, I'm taking advantage. Like, bro, this nigga don't know the rules. But if you can get away with it, you get away with it.
Yeah, that's within the game. That's anything within the clock is within the game. You know, if they don't
I'm
like it, stop
I'm not mad to take that, right?
You can get away with it.
That's why he said unsaid rule, but if you can get away with it, history is going to show
right,
that.
right.
So,
right. No,
Yeah,
listen, right now.
they give some little white guy a 4-point. They make a 4-point basket, and we're in 2038, and some little white boy, we gonna be saying it's the new school. He got the 4 points, right? He's shooting from the 4-point area. What we gonna say about that? He only hit 20 shots, but he had 80. It's
but
within the game. It's not on
I
him that he
understand
was
that.
born in a different year, according to Cam, right? That's when he was born.
Absolutely.
He was born with the 4-point rule.
Yep. You know, it's also within the game if a nigga slam you on your head for keep trying to play with niggas. And then what happened? You out for 2 weeks and then they a sucker. Because that's what we would have did. I'm just saying, it's within the game, right? But then when the nigga slam you, they going to be like, that ain't basketball. It ain't basketball, huh? Nah, it was a flagrant. I just did it a little worse than possible. It's within the game. So a lot of shit be within the game. But do you want to do that?
oh Lord.
I remember the nigga. I'm going to tell you a story one time, right? I was playing. I really wasn't playing basketball much. I was just playing like once in a while. And God bless the dead RP. My man Ali Mo and Antman came to Ohio one year, and Antman was there, and they was like, "Can't play with Ohio niggas in Columbus," and like I said, I was just playing for fun. I don't even know the last time I ran a full court. I play a lot of 21. Anyway, I played. So I'm guarding Hot Sauce. Pause. Mm-hmm. And Hot Sauce did some shit, and I didn't see the ball no more. And he tried to run and go somewhere, and I grabbed that nigga's shirt. I don't know. I seen the move later on. He do some shit, but I didn't notice him. I was guarding him. Do some shit and throw the ball in the air. But he throw the ball in the air all the way up. But I didn't know that move at the time. But the more of the story, when I see him, I didn't see the ball, and I see him try to leave. I grabbed that nigga like this and threw that nigga right in the crowd. And everybody like, Kim, why you wildin'? Stop playing stupid with me, man. And that nigga right on the bleachers. I threw that nigga right on the bleachers.
And niggas go like this.
And it was like murder. I found the nigga so bad that all the N1 niggas ran on the court, but they didn't know I was with mad niggas too. So all my niggas ran on the court like, what's good? And they like, oh nah, nigga, Cam ain't playing within the game. Nah, I didn't see the ball no more. You're not going nowhere. Me and you both going into the bleachers, and that's that. It's within the game. You're right.
I would have loved to see that clip. I would have loved to see that clip.
It's a good explainer. It's a pretty good explainer because you're saying some things aren't ethical, but if it's within the game, hey.
Find that clip. That's hilarious.
It's all good because he ain't shaking me. You went right in the bleachers with me. I ain't playing. You ain't gonna catch me with that shit.
I know the move you're talking about too. I know the exact move you're talking about. Yeah. He did that in the playground in Clark, CAU. He did that same move in Clark, CAU. He had the one where he went like this and the ball went in the air. And niggas just clotheslined him. We're not going for none of that shit.
Nah, brother. No, I ain't playing. No way.
That's hilarious.
Crazy. Okay, so Anthony Edwards, another injury update. He actually missed the last 2 games and is out due to knee soreness. He's expected to be sidelined for 1 to 2 weeks. So, Mace, do you think the Timberwolves can survive without Ant?
Yeah, when you think about it, I don't think that the Timberwolves can do anything without Antman. He means too much to their offense, right? They don't have another slasher. Since they traded the young boy Dillingham to Chicago, so they don't have that many more slashes on that team anymore, and I would have loved to see him play and be a part of this time. But, this is what happened when you go all in with just the people that you have. You got to keep those type of people around, and I wish Antman a speedy recovery. I know they say he won't be out that long, but there's no place to be winning without Antman. Antman means way too much to their offense, way too much. So I don't think they have a chance without Antman.
Yeah, it isn't about surviving because they say they're going to come back in 1 or 2 weeks. It's only 4 games in between where Minnesota is and the play-in. And right now, Minnesota's in the playoffs. You don't want to slip down to that 7th seed and be in the play-in. Anything can happen in the play-in. So that's what I'm more concerned about while he's out. Do they make sure that they stay 4 games ahead of Phoenix, even though they're not in 6th place? Looking at it currently, they're in 4th place. Only a game ahead of Houston, only a game ahead of Denver. But you don't want to fall into that play-in situation, and you just don't know what happens in the play-in. You could be a game away from your season being ended and work that hard. So hopefully what I would say is that they can hold on to staying in the play-in, stay out of the play-in while Antman's getting his rest. I think that's what it's more about because we know he's definitely coming back this season. And I think that's why they're resting him now so that he'll be okay in the playoffs. Because I don't think me personally, if it was playoff time, I don't think we would be talking about Antman sitting out. I think he would play through the soreness. But I think that they know the playoffs is coming up. It may be some long, grueling series, and they're trying to make sure he's ready for that. But it's more about, to me, Minnesota, can you guys hold on to stay in the playoffs and out of the play-in while Antman is gone? And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that. That's a great question.
Okay. So who's the biggest threat in the East now? We will discuss after the break. Welcome back. So we discussed the West a lot, but now we're going to go back to the East. So with Cade's injury, Mace, what team do you think is the biggest threat in the East?
New York, big city of dreams. Nah, let me stop. New York is not the biggest threat on the East. It's Boston. Boston is now the number 1 threat in the East. If you take somebody out of number 1, number 2 becomes number 1. Not number 3, not number 4. I don't know who is playing the ambulance just now or the cops right now, but I'm going to go with Boston. I'm definitely going with Boston. I can't think of another team. I think Cleveland is right after the Knicks, but that's the order that it goes in. Boston, New York, Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with that take. It's crazy. Just the Knicks fans, just in general. I didn't know. I was kind of late to seeing what happened to Cade, and you know who called me first? Sin. See what happened to Cade Cunningham? He said, "Now, lung collapse. He can't play basketball no more." That's what he said. It's exact words. His career is over. He said, "Damn, his career is over." So I had to go do my own homework and do studies on it and do everything else. I said, "Why would you say that? Why would you just make lung collapse?" I said, "But you didn't even do the homework on what kind of injury this is. He could be back this season possibly, not career over." Yeah, all right, nigga. New York can't wait. I said, "That's fucked up." You said, no. Then they try to clean it up. No, I don't want the nigga nothing bad to happen to him. But that was his exact wording. Nigga, Cade Cunningham, his career's over. You don't want to deal with that nigga another 10 years, son. He'll be back, nigga. He'll be back. But I'm agreeing with Mace. Tatum's looking good. Had 24 points a couple times since he's been back. Looking like he's back in rhythm. We already see what Jaylen Brown's been doing this season. So to me, the number one threat would be Boston. And also to agree with Mace, the Knicks would be second threat because they still have their core team together of what they had last year. The Knicks are one game away last year from going to NBA Finals. And then I put Cleveland there right after the Knicks because we have to just see this James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Mobley thing happen in the playoffs. And we know James Harden's history when it comes to the playoffs. One of the most prolific scorers ever, led his team to several playoff appearances, especially in Houston. But it seems like when the money's on the line, he just doesn't get it done. He has decent help in Cleveland, so we'll see what happens. But I'm putting the Knicks ahead of Cleveland, and I'm putting Boston ahead of the Knicks.
Okay. Not just to...
Yo, wait.
Go ahead,
Are we ready to say that the playoffs are just too big for James Harden? If he doesn't get it done if he doesn't show up, not get it done, but if he doesn't show up in this playoffs, are we ready to say the playoffs is just not for James Harden?
I'm not ready to say that because we have to think about 4 seasons. I know it's 3 or maybe 4. Who James Harden lost to in the playoffs? He lost to a dynasty. Now, don't get me wrong. He doesn't show up for certain games during them seasons, right? But he didn't just lose to anybody. He lost to Kevin Garnett, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. He lost to dynasty 2, 3, 4 years out in situation. Then we think about the time they were up on Golden State and Chris Paul gets hurt and missed the last 2, 3 games. And they could have beat Golden State that year, but then Chris Paul gets hurt. If I'm not mistaken, if they play Golden State, but I remember Chris Paul getting hurt, and that's what caused them the series. So it seems like that, you're going to put the onus on James Harden because he's the superstar on that team. But, that's like a quarterback, right? When the quarterback wins, he gets all the praise. When he doesn't win, even if it's a defensive stop or something on defense, he gets all the blame. So I'm not mad if somebody be like, James Harden just can't get it done. But you have to look at how he gets eliminated as well. But to your point, Mace, Game 7s, even though it shouldn't be getting the Game 7s, he disappears a lot. Definitely, and that's not the games to disappear. Game 7s is when you're supposed to step up. So I'm not mad at the take if somebody says he doesn't get done in the playoffs too, but just putting a little more context to it, let's think about who he got eliminated by as well.
So I want to ask y'all.
I'm really...
Go ahead, Mace.
Yeah, I'm really talking about like the Game 7s, like exactly what you said, the times when he just vanishes, like take that game off when it's like a really big game. I'm not talking about getting beat by a team that's better than you. Because if you go out with 30 points, we still remember that you was cooking, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's time for him to really put his imprint on a playoff series, whether he goes out or not. He got to show up this season for me. But go ahead, Stat.
Yeah, I was just going to ask y'all a follow-up question because if I had to put myself in Sin's shoes, right? With the Knicks only being a game behind Boston, right? What factors in particular kind of keep them out of that biggest threat combo? Because I know you guys are like Boston first, and I know you guys are going specifically by the standings, but where's that hope? It's just, where is that?
There's no hope, Stat. This has been going on for 40, 50 years. Stat, this has been happening since we was 8 years old, Stat. This can't change now. Like, just because you're a game behind, Stat, you want to know how many times we've seen this in 40 years? Just think of how many years you've seen that same sentiment in 40 years. Oh, we about to do it. Oh, we just got Charles, what's his name? I forgot his name. The power forward.
Charles Oakley.
Yeah, just got Charles Oakley. Then we just got Charles Smith. Man, Kenny Smith just won the dunk contest. Stat, we've been hearing this since we've been 8 years old. Look at us, Stat. That's crazy. Say you've been hearing this since you was 8 years old. My grandpa said this. You get what I'm telling you? My stepdad told me, "Oh, we gotta watch the game. You gotta sit down. This is the year." Stat. My uncle said this. Stat, it has made it all the way to Sin City. Stat, from my grandpa. Stat.
Pass
You
down the
never hear
line.
me bring up my grandpa. Stat. This is how far it's made it. Stat. What would you say to me now, Stat?
Keep wishing. Keep wishing. Keep on keeping on. That's what you can do. But that's why I'm putting myself in his shoes and I'm asking you both because I'm like, I know that's the argument. It's like, what are those factors?
The first time I heard this, Stat, the first time I heard this, I was probably 6 years old with a snow cone with colors on the snow cone, Stat. That's the first time I heard this. Maybe they AI me a picture killer with a snow cone. This is the first time I heard that. They've been letting me down that long. That's how long they've been letting me down. So when somebody say me and Killer is saying, that's how far. They've been telling us this since AJ jeans. That do you know what AJ jeans are, Stat?
No.
Hell no.
I don't.
That's how long
AJ
they've been telling us.
Apple bottoms. That's as far back as I can go.
Apple bottoms.
That's as far back as I can go. I don't know what AJ jeans are.
Killer, that's crazy.
You like she's 24. Jeans with apple bottoms. This is great. That's like a 30-year
Look
gap.
up AJ jeans.
That was like the last jean that was like, if you're talking about actual jeans, that I remember that was popular. Apple bottoms. I don't know no other jean that made waves, but I'll search it up because I don't know.
Yeah, you might as well ask her if she knows what Sergio Valente is, nigga.
I don't know.
She ain't gonna know what that is. She don't know what Gimbals is. But to answer your question, Stat, yeah, I agree with Mason. Mason's kind of being nice about it, to be totally honest with you. See, what Mason's telling you is this has been going on since our recollection of basketball, right? So we might have started watching basketball at 5, 6, 7 years old, however old you was started watching basketball. And that's what he's basically saying when he was old enough to be aware of watching an NBA game and the Knicks were the team. That's how long it's been going on for us, but it's going on before we were born. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Mason's is going on by his recollection. This has been happening before we were born, Stat. We're not old enough to see the Knicks win a championship. You know, I know somebody be like, last time the Knicks won, you was just 2 years old. We don't even got that. So, no, I'm not, no. And that's what people are like, y'all hating on the Knicks, you hating on the Knicks. We're not hating on the Knicks. We have to go by what history is telling us, right? Think about it. Last year before, season before last, I remember us having the quote unquote funerals for the Knicks. You know, when they lost. You know, because we knew it was happening. Then last year, it looked like it could happen. They beat we thinking, okay, you beat Boston. It's a done deal. They going to the championship, right? Know what? Let's name a street after Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Rose, and Josh Hart. Let's give them their own street. Speeding, brother. Slow down and take this ticket. You bugging. So, yeah, Mason's talking about our recollection of when we was able to watch the Knicks play. I know exactly what Mason's talking about. That was my favorite. Joint off the ice cream truck, the 3 colors and pause. You suck the flavor out. Pause. That was my favorite joint. So I know, and you don't even understand what kind of environment we was in for that snow cone. the world's changed since that several times. So no, I want them to get there. I'm wishing them the best, but history just says different.
Yeah. Well, to Knicks fans, you guys heard it here first, but maybe keep the hope strong, you know? Maybe you guys can prove them wrong. I'm always going to vote for some sort of upside, so that's what I will put. And as far as ice cream trucks, I don't even know what happened to them. They just disappeared one day, like all in unison, which is real sad because they would make your day. Okay, so LeVar Ball confirms that LaMelo has a son with model Anna Montana named LaJuan and says he plans to start training him for the NBA at 3 years old. He said, Jello already got my number one pick. I got another one too called LaJuan. Yes, indeed. If I raise y'all 3 killers in the backyard, what do you think I'm going to do with a gym in the backyard? So hearing this from LeVar Ball, Mace, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on LaJuan and starting training at 3?
This is crazy. Everything about this is crazy. From the name LaJuan, right? That's fire, you know. You got a name like that, you got to do something crazy. It's better than calling a girl Mercedes, right? So I'm going with the LaJuan. And
What's wrong with
if it comes
Mercedes?
down to LeVar Ball, huh?
What's wrong with Mercedes?
We'll tell you later, Stat. But when it comes down to LeVar Ball, I think he's serious about this. And LeVar Ball, if you're listening to this, we would love to have you on the show. We'd love for you to come up here and tell us your side of the story with this whole thing and break it down even more for us. We're fans of everything you've done with your sons and everything you've done outside of that with your sneakers, the brand, everything, you know. But I love this for LeVar Ball. This is exactly what he needs. He needs something to put his attention to and give his attention to detail with. And I like everything that he's done with his sons. You know, I really appreciate guys like that really know what they're talking about. So shout out to him. Shout out to Hannah Montana. You know,
Anna, but
shout out to the whole mind.
yeah.
What?
Anna Montana. Hannah Montana's that
Anna
girl,
Montana.
but Anna Montana. Cam.
Shout out to Taz, right? Shout out to Taz.
No, I'm saying I'm a big LeVar Ball fan. It's funny that this topic came up today. I actually spoke to LeVar Ball's assistant the day before yesterday about getting him on the show. So it's very, very coincidental. But yeah, look, man, LeVar Ball comes off as arrogant, comes off as a loudmouth, comes off as whatever you want to say. But what you can't say is that he's not a great father, and you can't say he didn't raise 3 great basketball players, 3 professional basketball players. You know, we sit here and say whatever about Jello, but Jello had a chance to in the NBA. He just didn't stay there. And then Jello actually could have played. He was good enough to play ball overseas, but he didn't want to go overseas. You know what I'm saying? So he raised 3 great basketball players, absolutely. And I think that you got to start young. 3 years old is a great age to start training. Put the ball in their hands at 2, so they could get familiar with it around the house. But I think it's a great, great age to start training. I was actually in the gym with Floyd Mayweather a few nights ago, and his grandson is out there just punching everybody that walks by, punching the punching bags, just punching everything, man. He made me flinch. I walk by, hear me with one of these. I'm like, calm down. But this is when you have to start putting it in these people's heads. It's very rarely. Don't get me wrong. You have some people who's late bloomers that start late fighting, playing ball, so on and so forth. But 9 times out of 10, these professional athletes start at 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. I know. How old was you, Mace? I don't know when you started playing organized basketball.
Probably like 8.
Yeah. You hear what I'm saying? Right, with a referee, right? Yeah, I started at 9. So the thing about it is, and you got to think about it, I don't know or not, but I found out about the Gauchos at 8, and somebody took me over there, and I played it. I went there at 9, and I didn't play my first tournament till 10. But I was around tournaments growing up. There's a lot of tournaments in Harlem. I remember wanting to play for Chick All-Stars so bad, I just wasn't good enough at the time. That's what really made me want to play basketball. But we're talking about 40 years ago almost. Right now, they got tournaments. I see kids at 3 years old playing in the tournament and not necessarily knowing all the rules, but running the full court. They still not having they're not calling. Yeah, they're not calling dribble or double dribble or travel or anything, but they're getting the concept of what a game is. So I think this is a great age. But LeVar Ball, you cannot doubt his fathering skills. You cannot doubt him trying to make great business decisions for his kids, and you can't deny him raising 3 pro athletes. You know, when you look at I've been seeing documentaries on not necessarily documentaries, seems like a documentary, but I see different clips on when he was coaching Lamelo Ball, yelling at him, screaming at him, talking about you ain't shit. You think you better than the organization. You think you better than this, and that just goes to show. Just because you was his son, or just because you are his son, you're not going to get away with murder. You know, everybody thought that LeVar was crazy when he said, I'm not going to put LaMelo in college. I'm going to send him to Australia to play with the pros so he can play with grown men. He didn't do conventional with LaMelo. But you see, to me, LaMelo has the biggest upside of all his kids. So as far as basketball is concerned. So I think he knows what he's doing, and we'll see what happens. But congratulations to LaOne and the Ball family.
Facts. Okay, so let me ask y'all this one thing before we wrap. So is there a skill or something that you wish you were taught or learned earlier on in life? Because I mean, we're seeing he's training them young. Is there something that you wish, like, dang, if I just knew this at this, I would have been able to do this? Or you're completely set with how everything turned out? Mace.
Oh man, I wish I'd have played more football. Like I remember we was going to high school and our coach said that about one of the players on our team. I was like, man, he said you would have made a great cornerback or something, wide receiver, I think it was. And then when I got older, I recognized, I said, man, for everything that we had, like if I was a cornerback, I probably would have been an NFL star. Just thinking about the things that I like to do. So that's something I wish I would have played more football growing up.
You know what's crazy is that we actually had a player on our team that played on the football team, and he couldn't come play with us until football season was over. And we used to be like, fuck you want to play football for? My man Travis. We used to be like, yo, what are you doing? Like when you in New York, football really wasn't that big a deal. So when somebody was playing football, it was like, why are you doing that? But then, like May said, you know, when I got to school in Texas, when I went to college in Texas, football was bigger than basketball. And then, like to Mason's point, you don't have to be that tall to be good in football. You know, it helps when you're a quarterback or maybe even wide receiver, like if you're, I'll say Randy Moss, but you can also be Tyreek Hill and be fast and be a great receiver. You know what I'm saying? But we frowned upon football in New York City. They had a team, the Warriors, that used to practice on 145th and Lenox at one time, and I don't know what happened to them. They kind of just disappeared and shit. But they did. Football wasn't. I mean, not in the city. I was mad at Travis. Like, yo, bro, we need you to get back on the team. Talking about a season almost over. What the fuck is just do both? Pause. I don't know why he couldn't, but anyway, make a long story short. To answer your question, I was just pondering on Mace's answer. To answer your question, it's a lot of stuff that you could have say, I wish I did this or wish I did that. But I think not doing any of that made me the person I am today, and I'm happy that the route that I took made me the man I am today, because we could have been like, yo, what if I was a football player? Just going off what May said, it's 100 different things. What if I was a football player? We may not have the personality that we have today. And my football career would have been over 15, 16 years ago. And then after your second act in life may not have been as good. Everybody doesn't have a personality like a great personality if you're a sports broadcaster from playing sports. Some people do, but just because you play sports, that don't mean that you know how to talk good about it. I think the trajectory of my life just went perfectly for where I'm at today in life. Because it's a lot of things you're like, damn, what if I did this or what if I did that? And no, I think that me having to sneak out the house because I live with my grandparents and being able to go to Mace's house or Hud's house or whoever helped me write rounds with Mace, build a barn pause with Mace just outside of school, or just being in the right place at the right time. I wouldn't change it. I think about that a lot. What would I change? Not just because you're asking. I'm like, I'm glad nothing else kind of worked out. Because I think we're in a great space today. And that's what it's about, being in a great space in the second half or middle of your life, is being in a great space. Because what if you had a sensational football career and you didn't know how to manage your money, or you got with a shiesty accountant, or not just football, basketball, anything in life?
Yeah.
Or what if you got a regular job and right now you're 50 years old, you still got to get up and go to work when it's time to go to work because you can't get your Social Security check yet. You got another 15 years of going to work. I'm not down on anybody who does that. I'm just saying I'm thanking God that my life turned out the way it is because I'm very happy with it right now.
Yeah. That's an overall great take because that's exactly why everybody ended up to where they are. But me personally, there are two skills that I really wish I worked on. I really wish I learned how to swim earlier on because in certain situations, when we go to the water parks and stuff, I'm like, dang, like I really should get in this water, but I can't because I don't want to do nothing crazy. That was the first thing. And the second thing, I actually was really good with instruments, y'all. Like I used to be able to play like piano and the cello and stuff like that. I kind of wish I hone down on those skills because now that social media is like a thing, I'm like, that would have been so cool. I mean, to me, everybody else might not think it's cool, but it's cool to me. I really wish I could still play the cello well because I would just post my little clips and continue about my day because those are the little things that I like. But those are the two skills I wish I would have kept up with and got good at because it's just dope. Like, I don't know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You know what a recorder is?
Yeah.
The instrument? How you hold it?
Like this. Right.
That's a harmonica.
This?
That's all they gave us growing up was a recorder. No, a recorder's
That's
like
a harmonica.
It's like that's a harmonica.
Oh,
Recorder is like a fake flute.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all they gave us. Yeah, that's too late. I ain't jacking you know.
I promise. Like I promise I know what a recorder is because I actually had a recorder. I was like really good with instruments. Like that was my thing. Like I was in chorus, I was in orchestra. Like I had to do all that. I promise I know what a recorder is. I don't know why I went harmonica, but I was like, that's cool if y'all learned that too. But the recorder is fun. You just can't do much with it. Was that a class that y'all had to take?
I know that my school, like elementary, they just gave you one of them shits and like learn it. And I don't remember it was a class or not. I remember having one and we had to like kind of learn it, but I don't even remember having no lessons. I think it came with a paper. Like, come back and know how to play this shit.
So just try it. See, shout out to recorders. I don't even know if people still use them, but bring back playing instruments. I think it's a dope thing that people should get back into. In the comments down below, let us know a skill that you wish you learned earlier or kept up with. We want to know, so let us know in the comments. But that is all the time that we have for today. Thank y'all for watching, and as always, it is what it is.